Hey everyone, this is Fuckbound Turtle, and today I want to talk to you about the Aeroplane Heaven Electra L-10e. Now, I named the title of this video a series of missed opportunities, and part of it is that I don't know how to say this, but Aeroplane Heaven has been a really established developers for the last 20 years. They've been developing content for Flight Simulator X, MP3D, and they already did some stuff for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So when they announced this aircraft and released it 3 days later, I was a little bit surprised, but I said, hey, this is an aircraft I'm interested in. It has, great history. Obviously Amelia Earhart, and her attempt to cross Pacific, in an Electra, even though it's not the exact model that we see here. But this is I love classical aircraft. I think they're fun to fly, less glass, more rudimentary, aviation. But when I look at this aircraft, there's a lot of things that could have been done so much better, and there's just things that are just broken, and it's really difficult for anybody to kind of justify buying this if the developer does not address these issues. Now, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure they will patch some of these things, but let's walk through some of these things that I've noticed. The first thing is, as you notice in the model, this is all 3D rivets, but here it's only textures. And I think they might have done that because this is something they converted from prepared into Microsoft Flight Simulator. They already add a model, but this is something I've noticed. And a lot of people have noticed that as well, that when you are right here, on passengers, and you're looking out the window, you see 3D, but if you look here on that little area of the wing, it's just textures. The rest of the model is actually pretty good. Actually, it looks nice. I mean, you can see there is some items that, could use some work, but as overall, as an external model, I think it's a pretty faithful representation of that aircraft. I wish it was higher quality. You can see here again, just textures on the wings. They're not real 3D. I think we've come to the place where we actually have a higher standard in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and people are just expecting just that higher standard. And so this aircraft is a little bit of a disappointment. If you look at, you do see some tire treads, but the rest is, I mean, it's not bad, but you can tell that, there's some corners were cut a little bit. But, one of the things, though, the benefits of doing that as I walk around here is that you've seen the FPS counter. FPS is really good. So I guess, if you have a lower end PC, I mean, this is a good aircraft for that. I mean, it will run really well. So let's go back into the interior and just look at the virtual cockpit. I mean, it's a decent looking cockpit. The textures are not, you can see here, it's like kind of low res, but overall, I would say it's bad. It's just, I would have expected just a little bit better. Now, one of the things that I've noticed right away, is something pointed out on the forum, is if you look at the seats and how they align with the yoke, it seemed a little bit offset. I don't know if it's me. I try to find pictures if this was the case in the real aircraft, and I couldn't find anything that a good enough picture that I could actually see, but it seems to be a little bit offset, and depending on the angle like this, it looks a lot worse than it really is compared to this. If you look from this side, it looks well aligned, but if you look right here, it looks like it's not. And you try to be straight, it kind of is flush and not flush. I don't know if this is a correct characteristic of the aircraft itself. Somebody can let me know. Now, the biggest thing that I've noticed in this game is this thing here. ENUP since SU5. That is the DME indicator. And if you want to fly an aircraft like this, you don't want modern avionics. You want to use VOR and NDBs and the EDFs there. And this is a big slap in the face right there. Now, I am not sure if this is done because the original Electra did not have a DME instrument, or the developer did not have time to fix it. They started to work on it before Sim Update 5 and they just didn't bother to do it. But if you listen to the Sim Connect protocol, DME information is being sent by the Sim. So I'm gonna say that this one is no excuses. I think that instrument should be there. Maybe if you don't want to use it because the original didn't have one, you can maybe have a button to disable it. But this is really like, this is one of my big pet peeve with this aircraft. Another one is pitot heat doesn't work at all. There's no pitot heat in there. So it's kind of weird, right? That this doesn't work. You would expect something like this to work. So I'm pretty sure the aircraft had pitot heat. One thing that was also mentioned by people who've tested this aircraft is that the mixture does just nothing in this aircraft, or very, 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 very little. Let me show you that you can turn on modern avionics. It's actually like right here. It has a G1000 it's behind the yoke if you want to fly it this way. I don't know why somebody would pick an Electra to do this. It's really hidden there. If you want to make the toggle the yoke, you can do this. You can open clear door. So most of these are not working. I think they're breakers, and that's why they're not working. Maybe the pitot heats were breakers. The lights are working as far as I know. There's supposed to be a tail wheel lock here. I'm guessing this is what it is. Not working as well. I heard comments here that the prop feeder doesn't really work in this aircraft. There is no way to control the vertical speed. Let me bring back my mouse here. Sorry. Microsoft Flight Simulator has this issue where you lose your mouse a lot, so they need to fix this. There's no way to really control climb with the gyro pilot, so I've been using trimming to kind of control, and that's because I have a Logitech multi-flight panel, so I'm just using the trim wheel there to do that. It's funny. I want to mention though another thing now that I've noticed. You do have anti-ice engine, but no pitot heat. That kind of strange. I mean, in Flight Simulator, if you fly into clouds with these things, you'll lose your speed indication. Let's start the engine, and it's going to be very loud. So I'm just going to lower down the sound. It's one of the other issue I wanted to mention with this aircraft is that, oops, I have parking brake. Okay, and I'm going to crank up the sound a little bit so you can hear it, but it's very loud and it doesn't sound very good. It's even worse when you're flying. And there was a description in the package that say that they're using, this is basically legacy sound. As you can see in the cockpit, it's tolerable, but it's not the standard that we're used to. So for this aircraft, guys, if you are looking forward to purchase this, just know some of these things that I've mentioned, they're not working. I've tested the whole current heading. I've tested altitude hold, that works. I've tested this thing, it kind of works. Gear works. As you can see, it says rich here, but you see the mixture has to be up, so it looks like it's backward, really. Like, it looks like lean is here and rich is there somehow. If you put them to rich, the engine just shuts down. It's really like, this is typical of older engine that rich was at the bottom. Let me see if I can restart engine left and restart engine right. And it's so if you're following this thing and you're trying to fly it, just remember that these are things like they should have known, and there's no reason why rich is not at the bottom, because the Junker 52 that just got released has rich at the bottom, and that worked. So it's one of those little things, guys. I'm really hoping the developers will look at these things and say, hey, we'll issue a patch and we'll fix some of it. I don't want to talk too much about flight dynamics or how it handles in the air, because I am not a real pilot, never flew this in real life. Why would you listen to me about how does it feel in the air? So I think, but I just wanted to go an overall of things that are working and not working with this aircraft. Make sure you lower your sound like I just did. It's still okay to fly. I did fly it. I did land it. It's fine. Everything's working, you know, for the most part, except the things I've pointed out. So yeah, if for $30, it's up to you to determine if this is good value or not. Hopefully this will help you out, make a decision on the Electra, and see you guys next time.